So there's my producer, Jeff Reed, giving us the signal that it's time to give you a catastrophic global warming update. And the number to call, by the way, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Now, you're familiar with Greenpeace. Now, I want to give you a little bit of background before I play this soundbite for you. What do they do with all that stuff? Oh, here we go. Little backdrop here. Global sea ice, this is from a story from this morning, Climate Depot. Global sea ice area right now is at the third highest level in history. Third highest level on record, the highest in 25 years. And it looks like when it comes to global sea ice, that is global sea ice over the entire surface of the globe, we are heading toward an all-time record. Antarctica yesterday, you saw this, a world record low, 135.8 degrees below zero. And remember, the all-time heat record was set in 1913. People talking about how this is the hottest decade ever. It was 1913 was when the warmest temperature on Earth was set down in Death Valley, 134 degrees or something like that. Story out of northern Mexico, 35 zoo animals froze to death. Got a picture in Australia. It's summer down there, and it's a picture of it snowing. Texas, Oregon, Montana, all of them setting records for snowfall and for cold temperatures. Now, with that as a background, I want you to listen to this piece by Greenpeace, the environmental group targeted toward kids.
Dear children,
it's Santa.
Regrettably, I bring bad tidings. For some time now, melting ice here at the North Pole
this is Santa speaking.
has made our operations and our day-to-day life intolerable and impossible. And there may be no alternative but to cancel Christmas. I have written personally to President Obama, President Putin, all world leaders. Sadly, my letters have been met with indifference. Needless to say, these individuals are now at the top of my naughty list. My home in the Arctic is fast disappearing, and unless we all act urgently, then I have to warn you of the possibility of an empty stocking forevermore.
So that's Santa, and I think
Please help me.
Please help me. And the website, I think, is Save Santa's Home. The actor, by the way, that plays Santa, those of you that watch Downton Abbey, my wife loves that series, and I have endured portions of it while I'm sitting with her in the family room. The name of the guy playing Santa is Jim Carter. He plays Mr. Carson. Says here, the stuffy Mr. Carson. I've got no idea who the stuffy Mr. Carson is, but you're a Downton Abbey fan, that may sound familiar. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's see. Do we have no callers, anything. We'll take calls on anything that we've been talking about in this program. So 888-589-8840. We got some phone calls coming in. Haven't got them loaded up yet. 888-589-8840. We'll talk about anything that you want to talk about that we have been addressing over the course of this program, whether it is dealing with the Ten Commandments and Satanist monument down there in Oklahoma, whether we are dealing with the meaning of the First Amendment and what's at stake there, the left-wing media's fascination with totalitarian dictators, whether you'd be willing to go to jail like this Christian Baker is willing to do, this computer analysis that indicates Jesus is the most significant figure in all of human history. Any of these things that we talked about, we'd be glad to take a call from you. Let's go to Jason if we can. Not yet. Okay, we don't have Jason quite loaded up. Just looks like we just lost Jason. All right, everybody hang on. We'll take your calls coming out of the bottom of the hour, 888-589-8840. You know, one other thing on the environmental issue is, environmentalists tell us that global warming is going to create all of this extreme weather. We're told that that's we're going to have more tornadoes, we're going to have more cyclones, we're going to have more severe weather. Well, I brought you stories about how the hurricane activity in the Atlantic and in the Pacific is at historic lows. We haven't had as little hurricane activity since 1866. It's been the quietest in terms of hurricanes making landfall in the United States, quietest it's been since 1866. You got to go back almost to Abraham Lincoln to find a time when hurricanes making landfall were so few in number. And, you know, we've seen some big forest fires, and all of the commentators, oh, this is a sign of global warming. This is what happens with the global warming. Again, from Climate Depot, 2013, this past year, had the fewest number of forest fires since 1984. The fewest number of forest fires we've had in 29 years, 2013. Never know that if you depended on the mainstream media for your news, because they get this forest fire blazing out of control and they can't stop talking about global warming. And now this is one of the things that they told us would happen. That's coming, by the way, from the National Interagency Fire Center. That's a government agency. And they are headquartered, by the way, in my hometown of Boise, Idaho. National Interagency Fire Center. Therefore, you know, because it's coming from Boise, you know you can trust it. Focal Point AFR Talk. We'll be right back.